Hey everyone! Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories reach. What do you think about Olivia's decision? Was she right to cut off her family, or should she have handled it differently? Let's talk about it below. And don't forget, a brand new story drops tomorrow. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. You won't believe what's coming next. The moment I realized my family was using me. It all started small. A dinner here, a birthday gift there, things that didn't seem like a big deal at first. But over time, it escalated into something much bigger. I'm Olivia, 30, from Texas, and for the past 5 years, I've been paying for my entire family's vacations. It didn't happen all at once. At first, I just covered a few flights to make things easier. Then, it was the house rental because my parents couldn't afford it. Before I knew it, I was covering everything: flights, accommodations, excursions, even food. The worst part? I never actually agreed to any of this. It just happened. My parents, Robert, 62, and Karen, 59, would always say things like, "You make good money, and we can't afford it. Family helps each other, right?" My older brother, Jason, 37, chimed in too, reminding me how lucky I was to have a good job while they were struggling. And the guilt trips? Oh, they were endless. "Olivia, we know you have the money. You're doing well, and we really need this time together as a family. You don't mind, right?" At first, I told myself it was fine. I mean, what's a few $1,000s when it means making memories with family? But after 5 years of footing the bill, I realized something. Not once did anyone say thank you. Not once did they offer to pitch in, not even for their own expenses. It wasn't just an expectation anymore, it was an unspoken rule. I had become their walking ATM, and they didn't even have to ask. It's crazy how long it took me to see it for what it was. I kept pushing down my discomfort, telling myself that this is what family does. But deep down, something felt wrong. I just didn't know how wrong, until I saw the message that changed everything. Because as it turned out, they didn't just expect me to pay. They were laughing about it behind my back. 4-0. I had ignored the red flags for years, the guilt trips, the assumptions, the way my family treated my money like it was theirs. But nothing prepared me for the message that finally opened my eyes. It happened after a grueling work trip. I had just gotten home, exhausted, ready to collapse on my couch when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom, Karen. "Hey sweetie, we're planning our next trip. Just wanted to give you a heads up, it's going to be an expensive one. But don't worry, your dad and I already talked, and we've got it covered." At first, I felt relieved. Finally, they weren't expecting me to pay. But something about the message felt off. Then, a few hours later, a new notification popped up, this time from our family group chat. I opened it and felt my stomach drop. It was my uncle, Frank, known for being a little too blunt. "Olivia won't mind paying for this one either. She's always been our cash cow." Cash cow. My heart stopped. But what really hit me wasn't what he said, it was the silence that followed. My parents didn't say a word. My brother, Jason, didn't defend me. No one in my family called it out. The message just sat there, like a joke everyone was in on, except me. I reread it over and over, hoping I had misunderstood. But deep down, I knew exactly what it meant. They didn't just expect me to pay. They counted on it. They talked about it behind my back. And worst of all, they didn't see me as Olivia, their daughter, their sister, their family. They saw me as a wallet. I felt sick. For years, I had convinced myself I was helping them because I wanted to. But now, staring at that message, I realized the truth. I had never really been given a choice. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to confront them. I wasn't going to argue. I was just going to stop paying. And I was going to let them figure it out for themselves. After reading that message, I knew one thing for sure: I was done. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't hint at it. I just stayed silent and waited for them to come to me. And sure enough, it didn't take long. A few weeks later, my mom, Karen, sent me another text. "Hey Olivia. We're all set for the Bahamas next month. We were thinking of upgrading to a bigger house, and we were hoping you could help with the extra expenses. You know how much we need this getaway." The audacity. She didn't even ask, she just assumed. I stared at my phone for a long time, feeling a strange mix of anger and clarity. This wasn't just about a vacation. This was about control. About how they had trained me, over the years, to never say no. But this time, I did. I took a deep breath and typed out a message I never thought I'd send. "I think it's time you all handle it on your own this year. I've been covering the trips for the last few years, and I can't keep doing this." Then, I hit send, and waited. For a while, nothing. Silence. No response. And then, the storm hit. The next morning, my phone exploded. Calls from my mom, my dad, my brother, Jason, all asking the same question. "What do you mean you're really not going to help?" I ignored the first few calls, but when my mom called for the 5th time, I finally answered. Her voice was thick with forced concern. "Olivia, honey, are you okay? What's going on? Why are you acting like this?" Acting like what? Like a person who finally realized she was being used? I kept my voice calm. "Mom, I just can't pay for these trips anymore. It's not fair." Silence. Then, the guilt trip. "Sweetheart, we've always helped you when you needed it. You owe us." And there it was. The word that set me off. Oh. I clenched my jaw. "I never asked you to help me, Mom. You just assumed, and I let it slide. But I'm done." The anger in her voice was instant. "So that's it? You're abandoning your family over money? I almost laughed. No, Mom. I'm just finally setting boundaries. She hung up on me. But I knew this wasn't over. Because the moment they couldn't manipulate me anymore, they were going to try something worse. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought, maybe for once, they'd realize they had pushed too far and just let it go. I was wrong. A week later, I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw a post from my mom, Karen. It was a photo of my parents at a beach resort, drinks in hand, all smiles. But the caption? That's what made my blood boil. Sometimes, you have to learn the hard way that family doesn't always have your back. Just because you give doesn't mean you'll receive. Be careful who you trust. I stared at my screen, my hands shaking. They were playing the victim. They were trying to make me look like the selfish, ungrateful daughter who abandoned them over money, when the truth was, I had been carrying them for years. The comments were already flooding in. Wow, I can't believe your own daughter would do that to you. Some people forget where they came from. After everything you've done for her? That's disgusting. My own family was turning against me, and my parents were feeding the fire. I felt rage bubbling up inside me, but I forced myself to take a deep breath. They wanted me to react. They wanted me to apologize, to break down, to come crawling back. But instead, I did something they never saw coming. I pulled out my phone, opened my messages, and started gathering receipts. Screenshots of texts where they asked for money. Bank statements showing years of payments. And the infamous cash cow message from my uncle. Then, I posted my own status. For those wondering why I made the decision to step back from my family, here's the truth. For years, I have paid for flights, hotels, and entire vacations, without being asked, but expected. Not once was I thanked. Not once was I given a choice. And when I finally set a boundary, my family turned on me. This isn't about money. It's about respect. And I'm done being their ATM. Within hours, my post exploded. People started questioning my parents. Some even defended me, calling them out on their manipulation. The perfect image they had painted was falling apart. That's when my phone rang, my mom. I didn't answer. Because for the first time in my life, I was taking control. I expected the backlash, but I wasn't prepared for just how far they would take it. After my post went viral, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. My mom, my dad, my brother Jason, even distant relatives, all calling, texting, trying to do damage control. I ignored every single one. Then, 3 days later, I got a message that caught me off guard. It was from my dad, Robert. Olivia, we need to talk. Your mother and I want to make this right. Come to the house. I knew better. I knew this wasn't going to be some heartfelt apology, it was going to be another manipulation tactic. But a part of me wanted to hear what they had to say. So, I went. When I walked in, my mom was sitting at the kitchen table, arms crossed. My dad was pacing, clearly frustrated. The air was thick with tension. "Olivia," my dad started, his voice tight. "We didn't want to ask you for money again, but this is different. We've always helped you, and now it's your turn." I clenched my jaw. "Helped me? When?" Because as far as I can remember, I've been the one covering the bills, the vacations, everything. My mom sighed dramatically. "You've always been the one with money, Olivia. Why are you making this such a big deal? It's just a little help, a little favor for family." I felt my anger rising. "It's not a little favor, Mom. It's been 5 years of me paying for everything while you all sit back and enjoy the ride. And the moment I stop, you turn against me?" Then, my dad snapped. "You owe us," he yelled, slamming his hand on the table. "After everything we've done for you, you're just going to abandon us?" That word again. Oh. I took a deep breath, my voice deadly calm. "I don't owe you anything. I helped because I wanted to. But you never appreciated it, you just expected it. And now that I'm saying no, you're furious." My mom's face twisted in frustration. "So that's it? You're just walking away from your family?" I nodded. "That's exactly what I'm doing." I turned to leave, but my dad's voice stopped me. "If you walk out that door, don't bother coming back. We're done." I didn't even hesitate. "Good." And with that, I walked out, and this time, I wasn't looking back. For the first time in years, I was free. Wow, what a story. Can you imagine being treated like a walking ATM by your own family? Do you think Olivia made the right choice by cutting them off, or should she have handled it differently? What would you do in her situation? Let's talk about it in the comments. Also, where are you watching from? I love seeing how far these stories reach. Drop your city or country below. And don't forget, a new story drops tomorrow. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. You won't believe what's coming next.